Giving presentations is hard, especially for people like me who have a fear of giving presentations. Now, presentations may come easier to some people, but there are multiple people out there who do have trouble giving any sort of information or performing in front of a lot of people. There's one person I can think of specifically who has had troubles in the past performing, and when he did perform in front of a lot of people, his palms were sweaty, his knees were weak, and his arms were heavy. There was vomit on his sweater already, what I would assume was his mom's spaghetti. He was nervous, but on the surface he looked so calm and so ready to drop bombs, but he kept on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking now. Everybody's joking now. The clock runs out. Time's up. Over. Plow. Okay, clearly I'm no Eminem, but he is someone who, back before he was able to perform in front of millions as he does now, he did have problems speaking. In his movie 8 Mile, he gives this little rap later on because he had extreme stage fright and wasn't able to give his rap like he wanted to. Now, obviously giving presentations is a little bit different from rapping, but when you have a fear of speaking in front of people, sometimes things don't tend to go the way you want it to. For instance, for me, I tend to talk too fast. I go and my voice just rambles on, and ever since the 3rd grade when I started presenting, I've had issues with speaking too quickly and excessively shaking. The first time I spoke in 3rd grade, I only had about 15 other students in my class, and I was trying to be the next student council member, and it was probably only a 2-minute speech, but I was so nervous, all I could think about was how badly I wanted to go back and sit down. In 5th grade, I had to give another presentation in front of about 100 students this time, still just 5th graders, most of my peers, and while I was presenting, my body was shaking and I was laughing as they were laughing at me, and you could tell how nervous I was. And then, thinking that was the last time I'd ever have to present, here comes Journalism 150, the class that I took, that would make my fear of giving presentations come back up, and all of a sudden I was back to where I was back in elementary school. Giving presentations, like the first time in Journalism 150, I spoke way too fast. I was speaking so fast because I was so nervous, I just didn't want to spend another minute or second alone in front of the class. And because I spoke so fast, that directly correlated to my loss of confidence. I didn't have what I needed to have that self-esteem where I could get in front of people thinking, oh, I'll be fine, this is going to be okay. All I wanted to do was sit back down and watch someone else present. The first time I spoke about lacrosse, something that I know like the back of my hand, I was going about 100 miles per hour. And from what I would think, it might have sounded a little something like this.
Gotta set it, then I gotta go, and then I gotta get it, then I gotta blow, and then I gotta shut it. Any little thing, and everything that he be doing, because it doesn't matter, because I'm gonna
Now, I actually did try to learn this rap so I could give you another little spiel of my great rapping talent, but actually I could not speak that fast. But as I present, I kind of feel like I am able to go that fast because my nerves are going so fast that I don't realize and I don't know how to slow myself down. When you know if you're going to talk too fast, you need to know that your speed is going to set the bar for your presentation. When you talk too fast, it's clear to the audience probably that you're a little bit nervous. And it's okay to be nervous, but when you're going so fast, it almost comes across as you don't want to be up on stage or in front of people, and so why would the audience want to be sitting there listening to you? How fast you go is kind of like driving. When I drive, I say, oh, 5 you're fine, 10 you're mine. So if I were to drive, I'm going 5 over the speed limit. You know, I'm okay. I can go a little bit faster. And then before I know it, I'm accelerating and going 50 and a 25. And hopefully I can see that sign that tells me, oh, you better slow down. Or heaven forbid, you see a cop and then it's too late. As you're presenting, you need to know how to slow down. before something comes up and you realize you can't. In order to slow down, you need to find that thing that helps you set your pace. I know many professionals who tend to use their hands to set the pace and give them something to base how fast they're going. If they're doing motions or something that is relatively fast and maybe they're using their hands a lot, then your body might tell you you need to go a little bit faster, and then that will keep speeding up and your presentation will be over like that, and your message won't be relayed to the audience because you were going 100 miles per hour. Another thing you can do is just to pace the room back and forth. But when you're pacing the room, it's important to remember to go just the right speed so that you are able to monitor how fast you talk with how fast you're walking. If you're pacing back and forth like a nervous wreck, you're bound to talk just as fast. But if you slowly go back and forth, your presentation will go just as smoothly. And also, pacing the room back and forth will help with the audience to pay attention because they need to follow exactly where you're going. Also, you can add visuals, or you can just tell yourself, this is when I need to do this part. For instance, as I begin presenting, I normally have the biggest nervous reaction towards the beginning of my presentations. So what I tend to do is I add a visual in the beginning. This allows me to take time, collect myself, and allow the audience to pay attention to the visual as I collect myself. Also, while there is a visual up, or just in general, you can take that deep breath. You just let it in, you collect yourself, you stop for a little bit, and you let the pace just slow back down. When you take a deep breath, it also can help with the audience's attention. You let them come to you, waiting to see what you have next. It's almost like an anticipation cue. Also, when you're presenting, it's important to be comfortable. If you're going fast or you're pacing the room and you don't feel comfortable, you're not going to give the presentation you want. You need to find what it is that keeps you from doing the best, and then don't let those actions or nervous actions take over from what you're trying to do. For instance, Jane Prager from Columbia University, who is a presentation coach, says that it's okay to be nervous. It's normal. People are nervous all the time. Even the people who give millions of presentations in their life, they may have some anxiety, but that's normal. You don't want to go up in front of people, though, and tell them how nervous you are, because then the audience may feel, oh, they could assume many things and be assuming that, oh, maybe she wasn't prepared, and that back credits you. Maybe she doesn't even know what she's talking about, and that back credits you. Jerry Seinfeld actually said at one point that the average person would rather be in a casket if they had to attend a funeral than giving the eulogy itself, which for me, giving a presentation towards the beginning of the semester, I definitely would have been true, because as you're presenting, it's easy to figure out, or it's easy to let those things that keep you from doing things and from giving your presentation. So, for instance, you need to work around your nervous actions. My nervous actions, obviously, are talking too fast, and then when I am nervous, I tend to shake, and my whole body is just going in all sorts of directions. Now, when you find what it is that keeps you from feeling comfortable or from being confident, that's when you need to find the way to work around that. For instance, as I begin shaking sometimes in front of people, I need to find how to get myself away from that and not let it be an external noise towards the audience. When I gave my first speech, or presentation, in Journalism 150, I had a visual and I held a sheet of paper and my hands were shaking so bad you couldn't even pay attention to what the visual was. And so, because I wasn't able to work around my shaking, people were obviously drawn into my distraction of shaking. Also, because I shake, I can't do big hand motions, because then when I do, if I were to do a bunch of things, I would draw attention to myself. Also, a nervous sweat is something that happens when you get up in front of people and profusely sweating. You can't stop it. So it's best to prepare. When you're preparing, you need to find something that you feel comfortable in, but also that's going to make sure that anything that you were to, keep you from feeling confident like sweat stains or anything. So you should probably wear white, or for boys, a black suit, something that isn't going to show how nervous you are, but yet you still look professional and comfortable. Now, when you're presenting, the best thing that you can do, obviously, is to watch your pace. When you're going too fast, everything else just seems to slowly go downhill from there. And yeah, it could even be accelerating downhill. When you're talking too fast, it shows that you're not comfortable and you're not confident, which means you did not prepare. When you are preparing, it's important to keep in mind everything that could happen while you're presenting. Like, for instance, if I were to give a presentation and I knew that it was going to be hot or something, I need to wear colors that obviously aren't going to show how nervous I am. But I also need to practice how fast I'm going to talk. Also, as you're presenting, confidence is key. When you're presenting, it's important to watch how you present so that the audience feels comfortable watching you and they can see that as you're in front of a group of people, they know that you have confidence telling them what they need to know. For me, it is especially hard to give presentations. But as I've learned, I can work around my issues. I can find ways to, if something were to go wrong, I'm not going to be nervous because I prepared in advance. Giving presentations is difficult. It's time consuming. It's stressful. It's even when thinking about, I need to do it this well so I can get this kind of grade. It is it's overwhelming sometimes. But when you find the things that are going to keep you from feeling confident and from feeling too overwhelmed, you're going to give a presentation that you're absolutely going to rock. And who knows, maybe for me personally, someday I will be the next Slim Shady. Probably not, but I will be able to give a presentation, stand in front of people, give them what I want them to know, and then in return have them listen to me and not have them feel anxious or nervous for me and know that I'm okay being in front of them. Presentations are not my strong suit, but I can learn to work around that, and I can go in front of people and finally do something that I didn't know I could do before, and then go out there and smooth sail right to the end. Thank you.